Welcome to the Bitfluencers Bitcoin podcast. We are here all things Bitcoin and Bitcoin only. Bitfluencers, the Bitcoin marketing team, is the first to offer marketing services for Bitcoin only companies. And we want quality projects only, and we're going to screen you hard. So check out our website, 21bitfluencers.com, to learn more. And Stefan is going to tell us about our core message.
Yeah, hi guys. Welcome, Isabella. So at Bitfluencers, we specialize in giving Bitcoin-only projects the attention they deserve. Our expert team crafts tailored marketing strategies designed to amplify your message, grow your audience, and connect you with the wider Bitcoin ecosystem. From social media growth to influencer campaigns and content marketing, we've got the tools to help you project shine. If you're building on Bitcoin, we're here to help you succeed.
Thanks, Stefan. So we have our special guest Isabella tonight, and we got a last-minute change with the podcast hosting because our super amazing podcast host Dani, she got unfortunately sick. So myself and Stefan, we had to jump in and to cover her. So, but we are happy to have Isabella here tonight. So thanks for joining the Bitfluencers podcast. How are you?
I'm good. Super excited to be here. Thank you guys. I know we were supposed to do it last week, but I had a flight that day. So thank you for accommodating me and having me in your podcast.
Of course. We're happy to have you. So the Bitcoin community, we know you from BTC Isla and Get Based TV and Bitcoin Magazine. But, tell us, who is Isabella?
Isabella is a very chill girl trying to orange pill an island. So right now I'm in Isla Mujeres and trying to orange pill an island. I love educating people about Bitcoin. I think we are still early, and it's this mindset that once you're in the space, you think you missed the boat. But the reality is many people still have no idea about Bitcoin. We are extremely early into this silent yet powerful revolution. And I'm doing that through creating content with Get Based, which is one of, I would say, a pretty based production company.
Yeah, well, the name at least is very describing, so it has to be based.
It better be based. Hopefully our content is pretty based.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean, you moved to Mexico from Miami just like a year ago, right? So to me it sounds like a significant life change. So how has this change influenced your perspective on Bitcoin and the broader Bitcoin ecosystem?
It's been a year and 2 days since I decided to pack up my things and move. Being here has opened my perspective in realizing that if we want to reach hyper Bitcoinization, we need to work as a community to make it happen. And one of the major things that I wanted to highlight, and that has sort of like, I obviously, when I learned about Bitcoin, I was in Miami. I viewed it as a saving tool, and I had a completely different perspective. But moving here on the island, you realize that many people in developing countries view saving as, as like a privilege. They don't save. Mm-hmm. So it's made me view Bitcoin more as a unit of account rather than as a digital asset, more like how Americans and first world countries are viewing it. And I think as, the Bitcoin community, I think we should explore those different types of Bitcoin because at the end of the day, many of us are in it for completely different reasons. And that's one of the things that being here has made me realize.
It's really interesting. So about cultural adaptation. So moving to a new country, because you are from Miami, right?
Yes.
Okay, so
No,
you
I'm not from
basically.
Miami. I lived in Miami. I'm originally from Peru. I was
Oh,
born there, and when I was 8 years old, I moved to Miami. Well, not Miami, Naples. And then I lived around 8 years in Miami.
okay, excellent. So moving from Peru, then to Miami, then to Mexico. So it this often involves adapting to different cultural norms, but especially concerning finance. And what you just said about the fact that Bitcoin is considered unit of account is really surprising, because it's like, on our perspective, it reverses the order of the natural development of a good becoming money. So how has let me my notes prepared by Swiss. Thank you very much, Swiss. So how have you seen Bitcoin adoption, or the understanding of Bitcoin, like differing between Miami and Mexico? So apart from this crazy stuff that you just said, that they see this as a unit of account, meaning not as a savings technology yet. So
Well,
how do they welcome this?
no, they don't welcome it. I want to clarify. It's not that they view it Bitcoin as a unit of account. I think we should view it as a unit account, especially in
Okay.
developing countries, because they don't save. Many of them don't have bank accounts. It's like a completely different reality for them. So
Yeah, sorry,
they,
I completely misunderstood you, but now I understand you.
yeah, the thing is, you have these places, for example, um, how can I put this so you guys can understand it better? We have entered with Bitcoin foreign land. It's foreign territory, and we can relate this to colonization. You know,
Mhm.
you have, for example, the United States and Europe. Before, like the Europeans, when they sort of like founded America, North America, South America, they obviously there were native people there, but at the same time, when they came and conquered the land, it was like a clean slate, a fresh start. They made all the rules. They saw what happened in Europe, and they were like going to alter it and change and decide what they were going to do. And they kind of like skipped multiple steps that Europe had done to get to where they were. For example, let's say, I don't know how long Europe or Rome took to build, but it took like millions of years or thousands of years. I'm not a historian, so people don't get at me. And you had America when like they discovered America, it took way like less than it took Europe, because they already had kind of like trial and error. They saw what worked, and they set up their own laws and rules that decided to work for them. Similarly to the payment systems. For example, in America, we live in a credit type of environment. We trust a lot of people to pay credit cards. When you are going to buy a car, you can buy it on credit.
Mhm.
In Mexico, in Peru, in different parts of South America, they don't have the trusting system of credit. What they tend to do is, like, let's say you want to buy a car. If you don't have the cash for it, you have to figure out how to get the cash, most likely. You don't have, not everybody can have credit cards like in America. Like, you're born and you can even have a credit card, For some reason, the credit card union, and they just give credit cards like it's nobody's business, because they trust that people are going to pay back. That system is not in place in South America and developing countries. That being said, Bitcoin in America is viewed for saving. People look at it as a store of value. Like, my money's not going to be affected by it. I'm preserving it for other generations. Meanwhile, when you shift over to Mexico, they don't save, they live day to day. If they don't, they actually spend more than they earn because the prices are so high. They have been so screwed over by society that they don't think that they're screwed over. Like for them, it's just their reality. They don't think there's a solution, and they don't even care to find a solution. Especially me living in this island, what I'm realizing is it's like all the problems of developing countries paired along with people that have been secluded from, like, not like secluded from society, but it's completely different than, in a different mentality than the people that are from mainland. Why do I say that? Because talking to most of them, many of them haven't even crossed over to mainland in Cancun. They just, for them, going to Cancun is like someone in America going to Europe. That's sort of like the magnitude and what it is.
Wow.
Their school system is completely different. They go to school from around 8 a.m. to 11 a.m. So it's a 3-hour school. Like, and as much as I think the school systems are indoctrinating us, at the same time, they teach you how to critical think. You know, they kind of like prep you up. Obviously, the system has gone worse, but they do teach you how to critically think. We have to give them that. And I've realized here it's not like that. And the lack of education is sort of like this barrier. It has its pros and cons. Like, its pros, it's like, oh, clean slate. You know, I can teach them about financial sovereignty and being, being financially literate.
Mhm.
But they can't critical think. It's harder for them to understand certain things. For them, things just are how they are. For example, at a restaurant, they think that the restaurant, when they're charging with a credit for to use cards, you know how there's a 5% fee? They think the actual merchant is keeping the 5%. They don't grasp the idea that the company of Visa, MasterCard, Discover or American Express, they are the ones that are benefiting from that 5%. In their mind, it's, oh, no. The merchant is the one that is keeping the money.
Okay. Wow, that's very enlightening actually for us Europeans especially. Things we take things granted here in many ways, and that actually brings us to our next question, which is about Bitcoin education. And I've been following you on X quite a while now, and know that you're very passionate about Bitcoin education, of course, because of this BTC Isla project as well. And you mentioned on X that there are challenges in teaching Bitcoin to students, right? So what are the biggest hurdles you face, and what are the innovative approaches that you have tried to make Bitcoin more accessible to those that are unfamiliar with the concept of money?
Well, right now I'm in this trial and error phase. I'm currently teaching the second cohort of BTC Isla students. The first cohort, I taught them the Mi Primer Bitcoin curriculum. The second cohort, I realized that many of them just need to understand the gist of Bitcoin. I had to be sort of realistic and understand that not everybody's going to understand what UTXO is. Not everybody's going to run their own node. Not everybody's going to know what a node is. Not everybody's going to understand how you mine Bitcoin. And that's just the reality of the situation. Understanding that was obviously a hard pill to swallow, because you want everybody to know and be passionate, and understand the Bitcoin formula, why there's 21 million. But that's not what everybody's going to understand. At the end of the day, they just want to exchange goods and services. People just want money, and they've been taught that, from such a young age to learn to live off fiat. So trying to teach them what money is, where money comes from, how Bitcoin is literally superior to the dollar, because here we deal with the Mexican peso. So it's like I have to explain to them Mexican peso, dollars, Bitcoin. It's hard, and I wish they would understand right from the get-go, but we have to remember the first time you hear about Bitcoin, you don't really understand it. Many jump into the ocean and are all in, but that's very few. So my main focus is to just get them to understand what money is, how to transact using Bitcoin, and understand that there's Lightning, there's on-chain, but they sometimes kind of get confused with that. But just trying to keep it simple, because we want people to use Bitcoin and have their freedom, but we're going to have to sort of nurture them into the process. Eventually, what I plan to do is, once I teach this class, I'll realize which ones are more technical, and then I want to have advanced, but I have to take it step by step. So my thing would be the basic, what is money, why Bitcoin is better than the dollar, and just learning how to use it. Because once you show people how easy it is, they understand. It's not that they understand it better, but they're like, okay, it's not as complicated as I thought.
Interesting. So the the next question was about the misunderstandings that the general public would have versus Bitcoin, but you already answered basically the question. So at this point, I would ask you, what kind of public do you teach Bitcoin to? Is it the children, the parents, everybody, or
Everybody?
everybody?
Well, right now the BTC classes are between 21 to around
Good
40,
number.
50. So they vary. I do want to get to teaching to children. I think it would be easier, but I have to talk to the school systems here and try to do that. But also, I deal with a lot of merchants and trying to get them to understand. Because the thing is, not everybody wants to attend a 10-week course, even though that is free. They just don't have the time and the bandwidth to do it. So I'm dealing with a lot of variety, I would say.
All right. Let's go more to the kind of social aspect of things as well. So, since you opted out of the fiat system and you fell in deep into the rabbit hole, so and socializing with people who haven't woken up to Bitcoin, how do you bridge this gap in conversations, and how has your social circle changed since diving deep into the rabbit hole?
Well, it's different. Obviously, I love my friends. They're still my friends. But they have different mentality. They think I'm anti-system. Yesterday, I was talking to a really good friend of mine, and they just think I'm crazy. They're like, yeah, you're like the anti-system person, because I ended up doing a water fast at the end of the year. And when I told them the reasoning, we've been trained to eat 3 times a day, but we can really survive off of water. And he's like, you're crazy. You're just anti-system. You don't like to hear anything about the government. And I'm like, no, the thing is just it's okay to question the norms that we've sort of grown up in.
Like, you live in a system, like in Mexico especially, where Coca-Cola is literally cheaper than water, right? So
I cannot answer that though, because I don't know the price of Coca-Cola.
Okay.
I think that is a true statement though.
Yeah. Trick question.
Yeah,
So we could afford to be anti-system if Coca-Cola is cheaper than water, right?
100%. I don't understand. And even the food. Well, especially, no, I would say that in America, fast food is cheaper than normal food. Here, you could get away with, eating, because I was just in El Salvador and their McDonald's, I was hearing that it's more expensive than normal food. So there's like pros and cons. Uh, yeah.
Crazy. So your next question, prepared by Swiss, is really so weird that I'm going to read it, just shutting off my brain and my critical sense. So, what would you do if? So we're talking about Bitcoin heroes. What would you do if one of your Bitcoin heroes started endorsing tokens or shitcoins? How do you navigate these situations while staying true to your belief in Bitcoin's value? what, what,
We are not talking about Fred Krueger now, but
what question is that? Okay, slay your heroes, we all agree, but okay.
Well, that's what
You
they
can
say.
answer, or
Never
you can
meet your
just
heroes.
sorry?
They say never meet your heroes.
Yeah.
Well, if my personal Bitcoin favorite would start doing Bitcoin meme coins, honestly, I'd laugh. I mean, everybody's entitled to do whatever they want to do. I do think it's funny now that we've entered this sort of like meme phase where everybody's doing many meme coins. And it's interesting to see, like I think Stool President just got his meme coin out or something yesterday. And there's like an African country that has its own meme coin. It's very, I have like, it's crazy, the whole meme coin space part.
11
Uh,
million of them at the moment.
how many?
Sorry?
11 million.
11 million?
Mhm.
That's insane. I don't
Yeah.
know. I'm very like everybody's entitled to do whatever they want. I am curious to see like why so much hate with the people that do meme coins. Like I did follow the whole like Freddy Krueger drama and how he was getting like kicked out of like his own podcast or something. And I was like, what happened? Like what? I love the drama. Don't get me wrong. Like I am all in for the drama. Like I will follow it.
Las
Like
mujeres latinas
yes,
adoran
I
el drama,
love it. Like you will. Oh my goodness, I love trolling. Like people just get so riled up, and I'm obsessed with it. So I did follow the whole Freddy Krueger drama. I even saw his like when he was making his life meme coin. I think it was stupid, right? Was it stupid meme coin or what was the name of the meme coin?
I don't know the name, but not
Yeah,
for
it was the first one was I think
Wait, he made more.
like sub 21
No.
121,
Uh-huh.
which this law that was repealed. So sub 121, okay. And the second one, I don't know, but it was more like Freddy coin or something.
But I if we can have more Bitcoin drama, like I'm in for it. So it
Okay,
keeps
fair
things
enough.
spicy. Actually, there was this theory about Pit Rizzo that he was talking about how, how we have the 4-year cycles in Bitcoin, the bull run, the bear runs. Like, anyways, he has this theory that the Bitcoin heroes from one cycle turn into Bitcoin villains the next cycle.
Wow, I love it.
And it has so far pulled through.
Pretty much, yeah.
Pretty much.
So
It,
when Michael Saylor,
I, I mean, I
well,
don't
no,
know.
he's talking about crypto. He's talking about things that he wouldn't talk about before, So even Michael Saylor is next in line, maybe.
Yeah, so I think that also is a good bridge to the next one, which is what do you think of the ordinals and the stable coins?
Ordinals?
Yeah.
I'm not too familiar with ordinals. All I know is that they're like the NFTs for
Yeah, he means
Bitcoin.
retardinals.
And
Yeah. Sorry. True.
then stable coins. Well, stable coins, that's another journey because I feel like stable coins are sort of the same or have this not, I wouldn't say the same because CBDCs are by governments and stable coins are by private companies, but they're the same thing, in
Mm-hmm.
my opinion. I haven't done much research, like don't quote me on this, but we should be sort of like tratarlas con pinzas. Like we have the saying, like you treat them with
A grain of salt, yeah.
yeah, with a grain of salt. I haven't experimented with stable coins, but I do feel like we're entering an era where stable coins should be not feared, but should be looked into, and especially since we're coming from a Bitcoin perspective, at the same time, like that we're pro decentralization, you know, all this stuff. I feel like stable coins, they're from private companies. They could freeze our assets. They could research a lot of things. So I would, be careful with stable coins. I have heard, Bitcoiners talk about how, developing countries adopt stable coins, but they will use stable coins as a stepping stone for Bitcoin. I have heard that argument, but I don't know. I think we're going to have to see. We are in the wild, wild west right now, in my
So
opinion.
basically, in Mexico, for example, you don't see that much adoption on USDT and stuff, or
I haven't experienced it. That I have heard that more people here use stable coins than Bitcoin, especially for remittances. But I haven't seen it myself. Maybe that's because in Isla there's not that many Mexicans that have remittances and they send them overseas. But I've heard in Venezuela, Argentina, that they are more people have heard of stable coins and are quicker to adapt because it's less volatile than Bitcoin. And like, because that's why I mean, sort of people that are in first world countries, we're kind of like, we live in a bubble. We live in this bubble that we think like, oh yeah, just go into Bitcoin. But at the same time, these people are finding Bitcoin out of necessity. They are adopting stable coins out of necessity. It's not because they want to. Their reasoning is just like, for example, in Venezuela, they couldn't get their hands on dollars. That's how many of them found Bitcoin because they're like, okay, I'm going to buy Bitcoin, then I'll sell the Bitcoin $4 or stable coins. So I can't blame them for finding stable coins. It's an alternative. They use it as a vehicle and then they buy, sell. They're not holding in stable coins. But since it's pegged to, something that they already know about, like the dollar, like let's, for example, USDT, it's pegged to the dollar, then they're less hesitant and I guess they trust it more. They think it's probably like, oh, the government is going to take care of it. I don't know.
okay. So talking about hard currencies, weaker currencies, and Bitcoin. So last year, you asked your followers on Twitter what their price prediction was. By the end of the year. So what would be yours now, and what would determine your reasoning?
I suck at price predictions. If I were to tell you, I don't even know the price of Bitcoin it is today. I don't know. If I were to make a guess, I've heard a lot of people predicting 159K. I would love
159.
159K Bitcoin.
Interesting.
I've heard, I think that's the most recent price prediction that I heard in this quarter. I would like to see it break 200K. I don't know. I honestly, the thing is, I'm so
Are you wishing
anti-bull
for
run.
expensive sats, Isabella?
No, that's what I was just gonna say.
Okay.
Like, I'm so anti-bull market because I think there's so much that we need to do when the price is low. Like, we're not ready to see $1 million Bitcoin. We are not ready yet. Obviously, when it does happen, we'll adapt. That's why it gives me low key a little bit of anxiety to see all these countries adopt Bitcoin as their Bitcoin strategic reserve. It just, or these companies, I'm like, yo, y'all need to chill. Bitcoin is for the people. But since
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
a free market, everybody can just grab it.
Mhm.
Uh, but I
Yeah,
digress.
it's true that it's so frustrating to see that retail that basically disappeared in May 2021, more or less. It still is still not coming back because it's still, you know,
They're doing shitcoinery.
yeah, it just came back for the for the meme coins. So,
Literally.
yeah,
Uh,
it's
but
it's really concerning.
Yeah, but I think
what are
this. Yeah, sorry.
what are your price predictions?
Well, I follow a pretty much the parallel law because I consider Bitcoin as being like a living organism. You know, it grows organically because Bitcoin is made of people. And if you look into it, it is something really serious. And I still think it's going to be broken one day because the power law itself is denominated in dollars, which is something that is going to hyperinflate sooner or later, you know. But as long as this shitty unit of account breaks or doesn't break, these cycles, it looks like, yeah. I mean, now it's saying like 200 more or less, you know. Now, and now you have the quantiles.
Yeah.
Like Plan C, like about drama. Plan C and Giovanni, you know?
Yeah.
They're so funny. But still, it's serious calculation. So the 99th quantile, when really things are, Bitcoin is overbought, it's like 200, I can't remember exactly, but it's like maybe 240 or something like that. So that would equate to a blow off top. But as we know, maybe things are different now because newcomers, you know, are huge. They're price insensitive, and maybe they're never going to sell. So maybe the cycles are going to change nature completely. Maybe they're going to become shorter and shallower. Stay humble, stack sats.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's my
Yeah.
advice as well. And if you think of the whole play field, how it has changed now with the institutional adoption, um, corporates coming into picture as well. And in my daily work, I see that because I work for a European Bitcoin only company and onboarding European businesses to
By the way,
Bitcoin.
Julian says hello, Swiss.
Oh, thanks. So basically, I see that the SMEs are waking up, and there's 25 million SMEs in Europe alone, and all of them will need Bitcoin on their balance sheet at some point in order to survive. And considering all this happening on the nation state level and on a business level as well, these cycles might definitely look different in the future. So we might not have this 3 green years and 1 red year anymore. So it's going to be interesting.
Yeah, but still, we're humans with, you know, fear and greed are going to stay. So,
Yeah, well, can be. Depends how long they buy, you know.
yeah.
Well, that's the two main reasons actually why people join Bitcoin: need and greed.
Yeah, need is something big. And by the way, it was
Yeah.
interesting because I am in Lisbon now in Portugal, and I came to assist to a presentation from Julian Linegas, so the co-founder and CEO of Relay, and there was about 60 people, like among the richest families in Portugal, plus expats. It was really interesting to see that about need. They're very wealthy, but you can feel that they are looking into Bitcoin not necessarily only as an investment, as you would expect from a wealthy person, but somehow this protection aspect starts to creep up. They feel it, stocks and real estate and so forth. And it's like,
They're
there's,
not.
there's something happening. And the other thing, just I open and close the parenthesis, is that I was talking to that one of the richest families in Angola, who's basically planning to sell a house, and she says she's gonna maybe buy one Bitcoin. So this makes me think of people like Hodl, British Hodl, who says, "Don't think that a millionaire has 1 million, to throw into Bitcoin. They tend to have illiquid assets. So even for them, it's not easy to stack one full coin. So this is really interesting too.
I
It
never
was
thought
really
about it like
interesting.
that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Actually, I read just like last week that there was a calculation that in Germany, which is a somewhat wealthy country, if you are a person who earns average salary, it will now, with the current price, take you 21 years to stack one full Bitcoin. If you start now,
21 years?
yes, with an average German salary with the
If
current
the price stays like this?
Yes, 21 years.
Okay.
Insane, right?
Pretty much.
Yeah.
And now you have the on-ramp also. The on-ramp issue.
Yes.
Because now like 10,000 euro or dollars in one shot.
Mm-hmm.
The bank is going to knock at the door.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
What are you going to buy with that money,
Yeah.
No, and I heard like people in Germany, like I don't know much about their laws, but their laws are ridiculous. There was a German Bitcoiner who came to the islands, never once had spent sats because he was so fearful from the German government.
Oh, really?
And the more that you like start like looking into like German laws and everything, they are so crazy. Like it is illegal to take your kids out of school and homeschool them. You could go to jail for not having your kids go to school. It's crazy. But anyways, yeah, he was just really scared to spend sats because he didn't want the German government to like knock on his door and get taxed on that coffee that he bought for sats. I
think it's currently 1 year. If you hodl 1 year, you can sell it without capital gains tax in Germany.
Yeah, this is really.
Yeah. But anyway,
it's really good.
Yeah, in Switzerland you don't have such thing actually. If you're not a professional investor, you don't have capital gains tax at all.
Yeah,
but I mean, I'm a Swiss hodler, so I'm never selling. So
yeah, no,
Isabella,
but you gotta spend.
I
just one quick question. Coming back to what I call Isa's Isla. What drove you to that island specifically? And also, I saw somewhere on Twitter that you managed to orange peel 100% of the merchants. So I was curious
100%,
to know whether it's true and how big is that island? How many inhabitants does it have?
Okay, currently, I don't know. Google says 22,000, but I think it's more or less around 12,000 people
21?
that live on the island. 21. The island is pretty small. There's 13 kilometers long and 3 kilometers wide. So it's pretty small. That means 5 miles long and 0.5 miles wide. So you can run the whole thing. Yeah, you can run the whole thing in about an hour or so, depending how fast you run. I have not orange pilled 100% of the merchants here. I wish that is
only
in my
99.
bucket list.
I have to find it. I have
No.
to find it.
I think you got it. No, it's 130 properties. So there was a realty company that they have over 130 properties on their website. They are now accepting Bitcoin, meaning that you can buy houses on the island paying with Bitcoin with Lightning. We currently have around...
Yeah, because it's like one company managing the whole...
Yeah.
Okay.
And there's about 15 to 18 places on the island that accept Bitcoin. That number is going to
Which
grow.
is really
Today we
very good.
actually got two merchants. So I took sort of like a working break, and
Let's go.
there's
Cool.
these twins. They're called the Verity twins. They came from Arizona to visit the island, and I ran with them all the way to downtown, and we tried to orange pill some merchants. So it was Tiffany, Natalie, me, and Josh, who were all Bitcoiners, and we just went with flyers, knocking at different merchants to see who will accept Bitcoin. And we got two merchants to accept Bitcoin, and one person to accept tips in Bitcoin. So the number is changing. One of the things that I have noticed is people or merchants, they're like, yes, we'll accept Bitcoin. And then they're kind of hesitant and they're like, no, we don't want to accept Bitcoin. So it's a work in progress. It's something that just takes a lot of time and patience.
And in general, how many people are Bitcoiners are working with you on the island?
On the island,
Yeah.
that's a tough question because many Bitcoiners, the Bitcoin community has helped so much. And what do I mean by that is ever since I started BTC Isla, many of them have gone out of their way to make a pit stop in Isla Mujeres. For example, like right now, we have, the two sisters that came from Arizona to help me out for the weekend. Unfortunately, they leave tomorrow. We have Josh, who has been here on the island for around 2 weeks, and he's going to stay for the whole month of February.
Yeah, cool.
We have Larry, the Bitcoiner, Bitcoin Larry, who's been a huge help to BTC Isla. He's coming for the first time with his wife in March, and he's going to be here for 2 weeks to help
So it's
orange pill the
people like
island.
there's
Yeah,
a turnover of plebs. That's really nice. Maybe Swiss and I could pay a visit sometime.
that would
Yes.
be amazing.
It would be really nice, yeah. I think that we met very briefly in Madeira next
Yes,
to a coffee. Do you remember?
yes.
Yeah,
Next to like the coffee stand.
yeah, exactly. So you were with another girl. I can't remember who she was. And I said, hi, Isabella. And okay, then, conferences and
Probably
met
Congo.
in
Efrat. Yeah, I remember you had the shirt with the
short
car.
feet, long Bitcoin. Yeah, short
Yeah,
feet,
With
long
a QR code.
Bitcoin.
Yeah. Yeah, this is dangerous to scan. Could be a
yeah.
scam.
No, but also I forgot to mention one of like the biggest helpers for BTC Isla has
Yeah.
been my boyfriend. He literally has been the sort of like the backbone of BTC Isla. He's managed to help me, teach the classes. He's literally always there. And obviously he's not in many of the videos. He's camera shy, but he's played a huge role in Bitcoin Isla.
Okay, so I understand he speaks Spanish, right?
Yes, he's actually
Okay.
Mexican. And the
Okay.
reason why I'm on the island.
Excellent. So how long do you plan to stay on BTC Isla?
Until I orange pill it. No, I'm kidding. Until it's more or less a Bitcoin circular economy. That
Okay.
would be the goal. I'm trying to give myself 2 to 3 years. So it's been 1 year and I need to get moving.
Really cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I think in order to be able to do all that and have the energy, I think eating healthy and going to the gym and doing sports is very important. So how did this involvement in Bitcoin influence your lifestyle approach, to personal health and discipline?
Well, I've always worked out. Working out has always been a huge part in my life. So I kind of like how Bitcoiners are now turning
important.
into, yeah, I love it. Like I've always been, like I loved staying active and working out. That's one of the main reasons why we recently built a Bitcoin gym on the island, and it's exclusively open right now for Bitcoiners. But I don't know, because I feel like in the Bitcoin space, there's kind of both. You have people that don't like working out, and then you have people that do like working out. I do like it how there's some Bitcoiners that, you know, like the seed oils, the water fasting, they're very supportive on that aspect. So I found it easier, but I don't know, because I don't know, I've always worked out. So you just,
Yeah.
I guess, gravitate to people that like working out too as well. So I don't know if that answered your question.
But anyway, I can tell you that we appreciate it and admire your great energy that you always
Thank you.
display on your videos.
Yes,
It's
yes,
really nice to
amazing,
see.
amazing
Yeah,
energy. Yeah.
it's quite impressive.
No, thank you
So
guys for having me and being so patient with me.
No, it was great to have you as our guest. Uh, any final words to our audience?
Final words would be to please, please, please subscribe to BTC Isla YouTube and the Twitter, and also to the Get Based Twitter and YouTube, because honestly, like the content that I do is for you guys, and the more people that watch them, the better. Especially now in this bull run, I always try to keep a positive message, because I feel like once you fall down the rabbit hole, it's very hard not to, remain positive. No, it's very easy to be negative.
Mhm.
So, and to kind of like miss, and forget that there's hope. But at the end of the day, what I want with my content is to transmit that there is hope and Bitcoin is hope. And if we do it properly, we can free ourselves with
Mhm.
Bitcoin.
Yes, Bitcoin is freedom.
yeah,
Exactly.
hope is really. I agree with you. Like hope is something that I had completely lost in 2009 when I figured out that the first entities that was bailed out by the governments were the very ones that had created the mess. So this is when I realized that we do live in a matrix, and so I lost hope that day. But with that realization, so I agree with you that Bitcoin is hope, and not only hope, but it's concrete. It's functioning. It's changing lives as we speak, and I can speak for myself. It changed my life, my family's life, my vision of the world. I think that most people see, rightfully, sadly, the horizon as shrinking, and now I see it as expanding. And I
Yeah.
hope that more and more people have that vision. I mean, I just hope that more and more people understand Bitcoin as soon as possible.
Can only agree.
100%. It's, I look at it as it's our only lifeline
Yeah,
Yeah.
for right now if we do it properly. So hopefully we don't fuck this up as a
exactly,
society.
exactly. Okay, thank you very much,
Thank
Isabella.
you.
Thank you. I'm
Lots
Thank you
of
Fernando.
guys
love
for
from
your
Europe.
time. I'll see you guys in BTC Prague.
Yeah, we're gonna see you there. The
And maybe
Bitfluencers
in
will be there
Helsinki.
for sure.
Are you coming to Finland in August?
I don't think so.
Okay, so
I didn't know.
they will be the very first Bitcoin conference in Finland,
In the Nordics, actually, the
in the
first
Nordics.
large
Wow.
scale.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's called BTC Hell with one
yeah,
L because of
yeah.
Helsinki. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So thank you
Helsinki.
very much, Isabella. Thanks,
Thank
Swiss,
you.
and see you in Prague then.
Yeah.
See you
It's
guys
going to
So
be
in
great.
Prague.
everybody, thanks for
Woohoo!
tuning in to the Bitfluencers podcast. And final words, if you are working in a Bitcoin-only project and you want help with the marketing, check out 21bitfluencers.com to learn more about what we do. And don't forget to subscribe, share this episode with your network, because together we can build a stronger Bitcoin ecosystem and one project at a time. Until next time, keep stacking sats and building the future of orange money. Bye-bye.